going to do is install the Easy AirRide on the 66 A-body Chevelle. Pretty straightforward. We're going to walk through and kind of show you where everything goes, what to drill, what to bolt. I do have tubular control arms. If you order from Steve at Easy AirRide, make sure you tell him you got tubular control arms in the front, and he can make you custom pockets for it. The hardest part, I think, is really going to be, you know, welding up the shock brackets and making something there, but I'm sure that we'll come up with something. Right now, we are going to get the tank installed. We're going to take the tank, I'm going to grab that side, Jeff, and we're going to install it up here somewhere. Get the wire out of the way. There we go. So the tank's up and out of the way, and I still got all the trunk space that I need. What we did to make things a little bit easier is pulled the back seat just so you can reach through, get a drill through, and do all the adjustments. Now, when I did order mine, I got a secondary box coming with the manifolds instead of all of the little valves. So that should be here today or tomorrow, or well, tomorrow or the next day. I think that's easy enough to bolt in inside the car, but what we're going to do is get this put in, get the compressors mounted, wired up. Make sure you get some something to mount the compressors to, because they will vibrate and rattle on the sheet metal. They do have rubber legs, but I think I'm going to mount them to a board or extra rubber grommets, some kind of vibration stop, maybe some sound deadening in there. We did mark out where the tank was going to bolt in on that shelf. I want to point out that I was going to do nuts and bolts to bolt the tank down, and it's going to be almost impossible due to right in here you have all of your shock tower and everything. It's going to be a real big pain in the ass to get anything in and out of there, to even tighten those bolts once we do drill them. It's possible, but what I might do is just cut a board and fasten it with like some sheet metal screws or something to the rear deck lid, and then mount everything to the board, but I'm not 100% sure yet. I'll get back to you. All right, so with the compressor mounting, we looked underneath it and the bolts would mount right where the shock towers go, and almost be impossible to tighten up. We could have done it and drilled some holes to the shock towers and all that fun stuff and got it done right, but it was a lot easier just to take a small piece of shelf board, put some 2x4s because my car has a bump right there from the body. We raised it up, put the 2x4s on. We flipped the mounts and washered them to lower the tank a little bit. We're gonna drill a petcock hole right there in the center to where I can still drain the water. I got about a 1/2 inch clearance from my rear deck speakers, but I think this will work good. We're gonna mount the compressors on the other side of it behind the seat and put some sound deadening on the baffling board, so hopefully it'll actually be quieter. For the compressors, there's still plenty of air movement through it. The car's got AC. I don't think the compressors are gonna get hot. It's real super easy to pull the back seats in this if I need to do any kind of maintenance or anything like that. As of right now, that's where it's gonna go. We're gonna pull this board out and get some mount and everything, and as soon as all this is mounted and the compressors are mounted and everything's screwed in, I'll get it back to you on video. What we've done is we took the board out, drilled everything, mounted everything. I got big washers under here holding the tank. The tank kind of floats on like a cantilever style over the trunk. It's going to kind of look like it's floating in the air. I mounted these to the rear because I want them kind of hidden and still keep the clean trunk look. I'm probably going to do panels in all the corners of the trunk and just have the compressor showing. Probably going to put some kind of decal depending on what the blocks look like when I get them. Next, we're going to mount the relays, do all the wiring, get it all set up to where I can slide this back into the car, mount it to the ground, and run all of my wires, get power and positive, negative, do my remote, so on and so forth, and get it all, you know, building pressure and getting ready for running lines. All right, so we've got the relays mounted to the board. It looks like the blue wire is going to red. You've got your ground. You've got your power, and then you got a remote turn on. Probably coming from your pressure switch. I don't have my pressure switch yet. That's what we're waiting on. It's in the box of fun stuff. But we're gonna get that all wired up, get it looking neat on the board before I slide the board into the car, so I don't have to do any of the wiring in the car. Over here, I did upgrade to a A&L style fuse. I own an audio shop, so A&L fuse holders are a dime a dozen for me. And then I've got both wires coming out of that for the power. We're just going to run like a single light A&L fuse in there. That way there's a safety feature. It shouldn't pop. I'm not going to run like a 500 amp A&L for a stereo system or nothing. Everything is going to slide back up in there real nice and neat. Clean up the wiring, and we should be done with the whole board piece. I'm going to run a bolt through the middle. We're probably going to have to drill the petcock out here with the hole saw. That way we can get underneath it and drain it. I don't know what kind of petcock he's sending. That's again in the box of fun stuff. And after that, we're going to start looking at, you know, running lines down to frame rails. Start looking into the bag setup. All right, got the relays wired up. We've got our main powers to the compressors. These are the main powers coming into the car, which we will hook up inside the vehicle. The 8 gauge power cables, the OFC that he sent, is already ran into the fuse holder and ready to go. Grounds, separate them both to one. We're going to do that right into the back of the seat belt, or like the seat frame. We'll sand the spot real good, put a nice self-tapper through there. Both relays are hooked up, everything's ready to wire. We're going to set this in the trunk and get it all finished wired up. And that should be about it. I think I'm gonna be done, real close to done for the night. On the next video, you'll see us start to get into the bags, running air lines and such. All right, we got the board mounted in. Both compressors, easily accessible. Taking the back seat out, like I said, only takes a couple of minutes. Nice and hidden from the trunk side. Kind of cantilevers over. I will put, you know, like a lighting accent or something down there. Build my secondary board on there for my amplifiers. And get stereo system around it. But other than that, I think it's a real clean look. It's going to have his 2 manifolds sitting right there. Everybody will be able to see them. Hopefully we can plumb the lines pretty clean, go right down the center to that hole there, and then come back out in the car. And I think that's about it. If you guys have any questions, go ahead and shoot me a message on the page or the Neil Knable official Facebook. We'll put the link in the description.